Hello, hello. Like always, I'm making a link from a story. Give me one moment. Hopefully you can all hear me. Actually, let me check something real quick. Yep, right there. I'm gonna mute myself after I hear myself. Yep. Okay. All right. Cool. Awesome sauce. So now it is time to. Oh, that's a cool picture. Instagram has a lot of cool pictures. All right. I'm going to make a story. If it'll film me, I don't want to type. I'm trying to make a story. Okay, there you go. Yo, how's it going, everybody? If you want to join me on YouTube, I'm going to be toning some Rick and Morty pages, so come on down. Hopefully that was cool. Yeah, that was cool. All right, so time to add a link now, and then I will be toning some Rick and Morty pages. These are the same pages that I was inking a few videos ago. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments down below. I will be answering them shortly. If I don't have any questions, I'll probably just rant for X amount of time. So, copy, link, paste, YouTube, join me. All right, I'm probably only going to be live for about hour and a half, 2 hours max. Or if I finish up the Rick and Morty pages faster, it kind of depends. I got a lot of stuff that I'm currently doing right now. I'm trying to finish up. Obviously, these Rick and Morty pages, I need to send in. I need to send in an invoice. I also need to finish up some other pages for another project. Which after I'm done with those pages, I need to, strictly focus on Rick and Morty for a while because I'm falling behind and I need to finish up a lot of stuff. But before I get into any of that, like always, I'm going to talk about Saturday AM. Just to let you guys know exactly what we've got going on right now. Let me move this over here. In case you guys don't know, we have a March Hard Madness competition that's currently underway. Oh, wait, no. That's not okay. Oh, wait, let me move this. That's why. Okay. That's better. All right, there you go. Yes, so in case you guys don't know, we have a March Hard Madness competition currently happening. I talked about this in the last few streams, but in short, it's a competition. You get to draw your own image based off of whatever prompts we have for that particular week. The winner gets a $500 Amazon gift card, and they also get the chance to be inside of our new collectible card game. These are some, okay, cool. This is, nice. So week 3, this week, one of the themes is design a, collectible card game, a playing card. This is really interesting. As you can see, it's kind of like the heart, 2 of hearts. So you get to see, their different, different outfits, cool poses, very symmetrical. I like that a lot. And then you get to draw, or you can draw a Saturday AM cover. This is, a cover I drew a long time ago when we had our digital card game, Flick Solitaire. So that was a really cool cover to draw. And then the other one is Cyberpunk. So something that just kind of looks cyberpunkish. Definitely a really cool contest to, push your limits on your art style. See exactly whether or not you can gain a lot of likes or a lot of follows. It's based off of how many likes you get this go round. Last year, it was based off of a lot of, did it not upload? Sorry. my Instagram thing is still loading. A few years ago when we were doing March Hard Madness on a regular basis, what it was based off of was how many votes you got. It was a really intricate system. It was very fun. I very much so enjoyed, last time when we were doing all of that. And then every week we would have like our own, live show on Saturday AM's website or not website, but the YouTube channel where we would all basically like come together and get a chance to draw, talk and critique about everybody's art. It was a really, really fun time. That was like towards the very beginning of me, joining Saturday AM. So, that was a really nostalgic time if I had to, think about it. Let me move this down. This thing is always moving. I need to do something about that. Anyway, so, March Art Madness, a really, really cool thing. Definitely go to our website, saturday-am.com. You can see it inside of the banner on the front page. However, if you don't see it for whatever reason, you can go to events, and under events, you will see March Art Madness 2025 art competition. So very cool. Another really cool thing is that we have a lot of, virtual, like these are some virtual appearances. A lot of these are, upcoming. So definitely, actually, hold on. These are from last year. Oh, my apologies. We did have a live event yesterday with Off Blacks Magazine. That's actually a video that you can go watch on their channel. I might link it inside the comments after I'm done talking and stuff. But they also, they had White as well as also Fred talk about, they both had different panels. I didn't get a chance to like watch them entirely, but it was, really cool to, check in and, kind of just see exactly how everybody was going. I wanted to show some support. But yesterday, my wife and I were like basically shopping all day for, baby stuff. Jackson is 5 months old and he got to try his first food. So it was very cool, very fun time. And I wasn't going to miss it for anything. So I unfortunately did not see everything inside of those live shows, but they're on YouTube and you can go check them out whenever you want. Like I said, I'll probably put that in the comments down below so that way you guys can go check that out. What else do we got going on? We have latest news, this tab. You can actually see, a lot of different articles that we write. We write these on a regular basis. This one actually was talking about the spring anime season. So the new season of One Piece, for instance, I think that starts on Netflix anyway. Probably on Crunchyroll already started, but you can go check out like that new episode. I'm really looking forward to that. Yaiba, the legendary samurai. Like I used to watch that manga. I used to read that manga a long, long time ago. And I think the anime, it's like from the 80s. I never actually watched it. Like to be honest with you, for whatever reason, I never thought, hey, let me go watch this anime. But I kind of want to. So, maybe in the future. Excuse me. But I'm really excited about the new anime. Like I watched the first episode and the animation was like flawless. It looks beautiful. It's a crazy story, for sure. But I mean, it was really cool. Sneezing. But anyway, yeah, if you go to this page, latest news and updates, you can see things like Underground getting the spotlight at an ICV2's Manga Week 2025. This is when, JeyOdin, he won an award. The only American manga that won an award in Japan. Very, very cool. Hats off to the dude. He did a blast. He did a really, really good job on this manga, and I had a blast reading it. It was really awesome. So if you haven't gotten Underground or any of our titles, you should definitely go to our website and check it out. These are some of the titles that we have right here in the graphic novel tab, or pretty much all of our graphic novels. We also have a coloring book, a how to draw diverse manga book. We have an anthology called Saturday AM Annual. We have, making manga book that's going to be coming out soon. And also a Saturday Wars, title, which, do I have that right there? Okay. In short, what Saturday Wars is our Infinity War. So all of our characters get together and they are going to be essentially trying to save the universe. It's a very fun story. It's very cool. We actually started posting the first couple of chapters on our app, which I'll probably show right here if you want to see. Let me go to read online. If you go to our app, you'll see Saturday Wars 1 and 2. I'll just go to 2 so that way you guys can see, kind of what it is. But basically, this is just setting up the entire like the entire like story and like everybody coming together and what their actual goal is. Uh, However, just a heads up, if you're reading it here, you're gonna be missing a lot of stuff that isn't actually in these chapters. We have a lot of stuff that we cut out and left it specifically for the graphic novel. So whenever this book comes out, you're definitely gonna want to check it out. It's very, very cool. But again, I think if you want to get like kind of like a the gist of what it is, or if you just want to read like the chapters that come out, definitely go right here because this is it's very fun series, very very fun. I really enjoy it. But oh, I'm looking at myself. Oh man, no, sorry guys, I'm everywhere. All right, so what else do we got going on? We have all series, basically graphic novel. But you get to like just go to a specific series. My series is called Hammer. This is my page. You can check out volume 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5. I also have a Hammer jacket. I very much so enjoy this series. I'm really glad that Saturday AM is publishing it. I have a lot of free liberties. Like right now, I'm actually on hiatus. I haven't been able to draw a lot of Hammer recently, just because like I said, I have a kid right now, and I also have a lot of different other projects that I'm working on, mainly Rick and Morty and another project that I can't announce yet. But if you want to support me, or if you want to see any of my work on a regular basis, I mean, Hammer is definitely where I think you should go, because this series I've been working on for a very long time. It's a very fun series. This is volume 5, where he goes to the Bird Kingdom, and actually, let me give you a little summary real quick. Volume 1 and 2. In volume 1, he gets sucked into the Ocean Kingdom after reading his father's journal, and he gets sucked into this book essentially, and he falls into the Ocean Kingdom, and he has to find out exactly who murdered the king, and he teams up with this mermaid prince. His name is Detective Dan. This is actually his sister, Commissioner Diane. But anyway, they team up, and they have to find out exactly who killed the king. So that's what volume 1 and 2 is about. Volume 3, he goes to the Jungle Kingdom. And at the end of volume 2, he gets a bag from Dan. And because like that's like his, one of his first friends, like he really cherishes this bag. And also inside of this bag, there are things called kingdom maps, where basically you get teleported into another kingdom. Like you can see him holding one right here. But in short, this bag gets stolen from him from the Jungle King, and he needs to get it back. So volume 3 and 4 is about him getting that back. Volume 4 is a massive fight scene, essentially. I really enjoyed drawing this book. It was very, very fun. But it kind of ends in a different way. Kind of alludes to a lot of other stuff that's about to happen in the future. So it's a very, very cool book. But volume 5, I very much so enjoyed for completely separate reasons. Mainly, I really enjoyed volume 5 because I feel like I was able to put an entire arc in one book. So that's 1. 2, this is a bird kingdom that I've had conception of the Ocean Kingdom, the Jungle Kingdom and the Bird Kingdom since the very beginning of this entire series. I'm kind of like, I have a lot of different ideas that I'm going to be exploring moving forward. But I mean, in the very beginning, like these 3 were the first 3 that I ever had in mind. So like to have this book come out and then I actually have it on my shelf, like that's a really cool feeling to have. So I'm very excited about that. But like I said, volume 5, really, really cool series. It's about a really cool book. It's about him going to the Bird Kingdom, and he and the bird prince, who has a human face, have to fight this king that hates humans and human-faced birds essentially. So it's a really cool, really fun story. Like I said, if you want to read an entire arc, like that's what I would suggest, definitely getting volume 5. But if you want to read all of it, obviously I highly recommend you doing that. However, just a heads up, if you do buy volume 5, or if you've already bought volume 5, please leave a review, because that definitely helps the algorithm in Amazon. It helps other people that want to buy volume 5, to see exactly what they're gonna get when they get it and all that stuff. So I think that would be really great. You'd definitely be helping me out if you leave a review for that. But let me get back to Rick and Morty. So before I get started, let me just say that last time I was doing this, I was actually I think inking this page, I might have inked this page as well. Excuse me. It looks really plain right now. My goal right now is to basically add as many tones as I can. There's a certain level of tones that I do. I'm gonna be talking about my entire tone process. It's very simple. Like, I try to keep things as simple as possible because, to be honest with you, one, I have so many things I have to do that I'm like, I just need to get it done. So if I can think of it in a simple way and get it done that way, then I'm gonna, do it in that particular order. But there are a lot of different other tones that you can download, you can use. I'm not gonna be using any of those. I'm gonna be strictly just, laying down the grays and all that. However, if you want me to talk about other types of tones and stuff, I'll probably get into that in another video. Definitely leave a comment down below if that's something that you guys would like to see. I would definitely put something together if you want to check that out. But let's get to it. This is my pen. Where is that? All right, I don't know where my pen is. I thought I had my pen right here, and I don't have my pen. What is? Oh, here it is. Yay. Okay, it is hidden under certain pieces of trash. But again, if you guys have any questions or anything you want to say to me or anything like that, I'll definitely respond. I have my live chat right in front of me. DJ Saul says, "Hey Jay, what's going on, man?" Or he says, "Hi Jay," but hello. Whew, excuse me. I don't really believe I got any messages on my Instagram, like any questions. I really need to get better at proposing that question thing a little bit earlier, because I basically just asked it earlier today, and I meant to do it last night, but I was, very, very busy these last few nights. So this kind of like, this is what's been going on. Like I said, in multiple streams, I have a day job that's only on the weekend. And on the weekend, I work essentially 12 hours every single day, 45 a.m. to 10:45 p.m. I don't necessarily, mind that job that much. It's definitely, it weighs on you after a while. But for the most part, like, I'm glad that, it helps paying the bills. I get great healthcare. I can rely on it. And it's not necessarily too difficult. There's definitely some stuff that you need to know about the job and like how to, continuously, do the job and not like mess up or do anything that's going to be like detrimental to somebody. But ultimately, it's kind of like a customer service type job. That's essentially the most I'll get into it. But the reason why I'm bringing that up is, over the weekend, my wife, she actually went back home to, talk to her in-laws and, just hang out with, cousins and, well, not cousins. It was her in-laws and their children, my in-laws, so her dad and his wife and her daughter and her, daughter as well. So granddaughter, I guess, but the cousin to Jackson. And they all got to hang out. It was really, really fun. They sent me pictures like every day, and I was like just really jealous actually, because I was like, man, I wish I could go. So it was kind of a bummer to, not actually get a chance to, just hang out with the entire family and just relax. But unfortunately, because my job is always on the weekend, like I'm kind of getting used to it. So, hopefully at some point in time I can, change that. But as of right now, that's just what it is. So the reason why I'm saying that is, at the end of Sunday, I knew that my wife wasn't going to be back until Monday night at the earliest. If she was kind of debating on whether or not she wanted to stay until Tuesday, because, the reason why is because it was like spring break, and some of the people in my family are teachers. So they had like a little bit longer amount of time to essentially, hold on, I need to get the colors. So I'm going to a previous page so that way I can grab them. But anyway, because they were teachers, they were essentially, taking off a little bit longer. So she was wondering whether or not she wanted to stay a little bit longer or, whatever. So I was trying to take that time to specifically just try to get done with as much work as possible. And because of that, what I decided to do on Sunday nights, I took my dogs out for a walk. And then after that, I took a nap for 2 hours. So it was give or take 2 o'clock, 2:30. I think 3 o'clock is when I actually woke up. So it might have been 2.5, 3 hours when I actually, the amount of time that I slept. Because I got off, give or take around 10:45, 11 o'clock. I walked in, I cleaned up the kitchen, and then I went to sleep. So I woke up at 3, and I was like, all right, what am I going to do? So I've been trying to, do some type of exercise because I just haven't been exercising nearly as much as I would like to. So I've been running a little bit more. So I woke up, give or take at 3 o'clock in the morning. It was kind of drizzly, but I was like, you know what? I just got to do it. So I got up and, I started running around. There's a track right next to my house. So I went to the track 3 o'clock in the morning and, I jogged around 3 times. And I usually jog around twice and then I, run around the entire complex and then I, end up home. So that's usually, something that I try to do, but it was rainy and I was also like, you know what? I think 3 times is basically the exact same distance. So I'm just going to do this and then go back home. So I did that. I came back home. I took a cold shower, which really jolted me awake. And then after that, I, got to business. I had a lot of stuff that I was trying to do, not just drawing, but I eventually got to the drawing, give or take around 4 o'clock in the morning. And at that point, I was like, all right, I need to ink, as many pages as possible. And I still had in the other project that I'm currently working on, it's 20 pages in total. But for this first iteration, I'm currently doing just 10. After I'm done with these 10, I get paid again. And, I'm going to probably put a small break on it just because, like I said, I need to, catch up on some Rick and Morty pages. But, after I'm done with these 10, I can work on the next 10. That's essentially what the goal is. And, I knew that I need to finish up as many as possible. So I decided to basically just focus on these pages. I, put on a podcast. There's this really cool podcast I've been listening to. It's called The Bible Show. It's basically these 2 dudes that, have been studying the Bible for forever. So it was really interesting just listening to them. They have a bunch of different episodes. I decided to start working on the first episode that they have as a video format. Highly recommend it if you guys, want any type of content like that. It was really cool for me. But I started listening to that and I started, just drawing, inking, and I finished up the majority of, oh man, did I put it on that page? Where did I put this? Okay, I put it right here. Sorry. Okay, I'm gonna put this on a different thing. Let me cut that. I started listening to that and I started inking a bunch of pages. I'm pretty sure I inked the people of at least 8 or 9 pages. I think it was at least 8, if I'm not mistaken. And then I woke up. Well, actually, no. I drew until I think roughly 10 o'clock in the morning because I was trying to finish up as many as possible. So from this point, it was from 3 a.m. to 10 a.m. And I was like, all right, I should probably take a little nap. But then I realized that I had a podcast that was set up. So I was like, okay, well, I'm definitely going to take a nap because, if I don't, then I'm going to be really tired for this podcast. So I took a nap until give or take, oh man, come on. Sorry guys. There you go. Okay. So I took a nap until, I think 12:30, 12:45. And then I got ready, for the podcast. We did the podcast. It was really cool. It was very fun. Whenever I get the link for all of that, I actually need to send them an email. I got an email and I completely forgot to reply because I've just been super busy. So I need to, send them an email. But I did this podcast. It was really cool. It was very fun. Talked about, how I got into this, what, advice that I would give to people, other stories that I have in mind. It was a really fun story or a really fun conversation for about an hour or so. And then, first off, let me just say to everybody tuning in, thank you so much. I appreciate it. If you guys like what's going on, definitely put a like in the, drop a like for the video. If you want to see more of these, definitely subscribe so that way you're notified whenever I go live again. And also, if you have any questions, by all means, please put them in the comments down below. I will answer, whatever I can. After I'm done ranting for a little bit, I'm probably going to go into what I'm actually doing for the tones and, explain all that. But I'm going to keep on ranting. So we did the podcast. It was really fun. And at this point in time, it was give or take, I don't know, I think it started at 1. So we finished around give or take 2 o'clock. And I was getting kind of hungry. So I, got some Jimmy John's, ate that for a while. And at this point in time, like I'm running off of 2.5 hours of sleep up to 3 a.m. and then an hour and a half, 2 hours of sleep in the middle of the day leading up to the podcast. So like I'm tired, but I'm not tired. Like I feel very energetic, but like I don't have like I know that I'm still tired. Like I can feel it, but like I haven't crashed or anything. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna run with it. I'm just gonna try to finish up as many pages as I can. So I hit the drawing board again. I finished up all of the people, and what did I do after that? I started working on the backgrounds, but man, why do I keep on doing this? I started working on backgrounds, but it wasn't like as fast as I would like it to be. I finished up maybe a page or so, and by that point it was getting really late. I started like feeling the tiredness, and I was like, you know what? Let me see if I can take a nap, because at this point it was like maybe 9 o'clock or so, and I was like, you know what? Let me see if I can go to sleep. So I tried to lay down, and I was tossing and turning. I was like, all right, let me see if I can watch some TV. Let me see if I can read something on my phone. Let me see if I can, play a game. Like, let me do something that's gonna make me tired. But I couldn't go to sleep. I was still really wired. I was like, all right, fine. I guess I would try to get up and try to finish up some more pages, while I'm still awake. And by this point, my wife had told me that she actually was on her way back, and her in-laws were like maybe 4 hours away. So I was kind of waiting for them to come home. I don't think they got home until like give or take 2 o'clock in the morning. And after they got home, I was kind of hungry, so I went to go get McDonald's. And then I, basically got back home, and then I tried to go to sleep. But when I went to sleep, it was almost 5 o'clock in the morning. So I was like very, very tired all day. Well, not all day, but like for the very beginning of yesterday morning. And after all of that, we got up. I knew that they had a lot of stuff that we had to do, a lot of shopping, because like I said, my baby boy is starting solids now, so I was like, yeah, this is great. But we went to Target, we went to Walmart, we spent a lot of money, bought a lot of groceries for not only him but also just to stock up the house again. And after all of that, I started drawing some more. So I was drawing last night. Give or take around, what time was it? It was like maybe 10 last night, from 10 to like 2:30. And I was like, all right, I'm kind of tired. I think I should probably go to sleep. I watched Goodfellas. I hadn't seen Goodfellas in forever, so that that was really cool. That's actually on Netflix right now. I really want to watch Batman, because all three Batmans with Christian Bale are on Netflix right now. So I'm probably gonna binge that over the next couple of days while I'm finishing up all the other artwork that I need to do. But I was watching Goodfellas. I was drawing. I was trying to finish up more and more pages, and I finished up a lot, but I'm still like maybe 2 or 3 pages. Like I have, hold on, I have roughly 4 pages left that I need to like actually finish, and like I know it's not gonna take me too long. It's just a matter of like time, so I should be able to finish it all tonight, and that's my goal. I'm probably gonna be up again until, if I had to guess, 4 o'clock in the morning. But yeah, so that's basically been my week. I woke up today, really, really tired. I couldn't actually wake up. It was like maybe my wife, usually, she'll, stay up with the baby. And then, when I wake up, I'll take the baby off of her hand so that way she can nap for a while. I try to like, give her some of that time so that way she can at least like, try to get some uninterrupted sleeping time. And I was so tired I couldn't wake up. I told her at 10:30. I didn't wake up until 11, and she was the one that was waking me up. And I was like, I'm sorry, babe. So like I got up. I got to hang out with Jackson. I'm really glad that I was able to do that. I love hanging out with Jackson. He's a hoot. But yeah, we were watching some videos on YouTube. We were just chillaxing. I had a Pop-Tart for the first time in forever, so that was pretty cool. I bought Pop-Tarts yesterday when I was at the grocery store. The Oreo kind. They're pretty tasty. I'm not sure if you guys have ever had those, but they're pretty good. But yeah, so that's basically been my day. Again, it's been it's been really busy. I definitely have been wanting to finish up more and more work as time passes, because like I just want to be done with what I'm currently working on. Like, not in the sense of saying, hey, I want to be done so I never have to do it again, but like I just want to get to the point where I can start working on the next project. Like, I really want to work on Hammer, Volume 6. Like, I've rewritten Volume 6. Like, I think so far this last iteration would be. This last iteration would be the 5th rewrite. So like I'm really excited for it. I think this is potentially the best one. It's very action packed. I think it's a little bit more consequential for Stud's character. Obviously it's if you've read Volume 5, like I introduced this other character named Tape. So this is kind of like his introduction arc. So you get to learn a lot about him. What else? Like, I mean, I'm very much so looking forward to this arc. I think it's going to be a really, really fun arc. I've had a bunch of different visions. It can still go like a bunch of different ways. So, I guess we'll see, exactly which way it will end up being. Like, I'm sure that, maybe I'll have rewrites for this potentially. Like, I don't know. But, as of right now, because especially since I'm still in hiatus and I don't have that much time right now to worry about Hammer, like I'm just trying to make sure that I finish up as many like all of my plans for Hammer, so that way I don't have to like be scrambling when the time comes to actually draw it. So yeah, so there you go. That has been my week. I hope everybody that's watching this has been doing really good. Drop a comment or something, let me know you guys are still listening. You guys hopefully have had a full night's rest. Also, let me know if you guys have ever had I had ice cream from Cold Stone Creamery. I love Cold Stone. I'm not sure if you guys have ever had that before, so let me know if you guys have. It's a very, very delicious ice cream. But what else has been going on? I watched JeyOdin, like I was saying. The animation for that is absolutely perfect. Like, that, they did a really good job with that. Like, I mean, it looks really great. It looks really, really good. But I was watching Sakamoto Days last night. So I really like Sakamoto Days in terms of like the manga. Like, I think they did a really good job. I haven't read it like the last few chapters. Like, it's been a minute since I picked it up. Mainly because I've just been kind of like waiting so that way I could binge like a bunch of different chapters to read. And I think I probably will pick it up really soon, because like I'm definitely at that point where like there's been at least 30 chapters or so that I can like just binge read, like probably an entire arc. I think that'd be really fun. But like the anime, like, I mean, I get that it probably doesn't have the same budget as Yaiba, for instance. The animation's, definitely not as fluid in that sense, but it's interesting in the way of like, well, I mean, I don't know. Like, I mean, it's just, I don't know. I kind of feel like something's missing. Maybe it's just, maybe it's just me. Like, I don't know. Like, you guys let me know what you guys think. I'm still like enjoying it in the sense of like, okay, well, I know that this is going to go somewhere because I've read the manga. So like, I know that I probably will enjoy what's going to, come up soon. But as of right now, like, it's not grabbing me. Like, so like, I keep on struggling to like watch everything, and I figured I would wait so that way I'd have a lot of episodes to binge watch. And, that was, kind of where I'm at right now. I have like maybe like five episodes that I can like just binge watch. So I might binge watch them while I'm drawing after I'm done with the Batman movies. I guess we'll see what happens. But it kind of like feels the same way as like Mashal. Muscle and Mashal is like, I really, really enjoyed that series while it was coming out. It obviously ended a while ago, so it's, no longer going on anymore. But the anime didn't really get super popular until what was it? I forgot their name, but the second opening Bling bong bong bling bong bong bling. Yeah, like after that came out is when like I think it got really really popular. So like I'm really interested to watch season 2, but they don't have that on Netflix yet. And like to be honest with you, I'm not sure if they will. Like they probably will, but it hasn't happened at this point. So like I'm kind of just waiting for that. Um but there's a lot of different anime that have been like coming on uh you know uh, Netflix, and like I have like a roster in my head of like what I want to tackle next. I really really want to tackle the entirety of Dragon Quest. Like oh man, I fell in love with that series um like earlier this year, when I first got the Rick and Morty project. I was watching the first 50 episodes on Netflix. And at the time I was like, okay, this entire series is just 50 episodes. I think this would be pretty cool to just like, watch the entire thing right now. Like this would be great. But then I got to the 50th episode, or like the 45th episode. I was like, there's no way that they can finish up this entire thing in 5 episodes. And then I found out that it's like 100 episodes, and like 100 episodes, that's the end of it. But they only have 50 on Netflix. And I was like, man, so that means I have to, either get Crunchyroll, or I think it's on Hulu potentially. I might get Hulu because I think that's a part of a bundle deal with Disney Plus. So I mean that's probably where it's gonna end up, but I don't have that right now. So it just was like, man, this really sucks. So like I'm really looking forward to actually finishing up that series. Like I'm really looking forward to doing that, because I'm not sure if you guys know about Dragon Quest's the creators of Dragon Quest. They came up with another series called Beat the Vandalbuster. And Beat the Vandalbuster was potentially one of the first, like it definitely was like maybe not the first manga, but like it was definitely one of the top, like in terms of like I first got Dragon Ball Z. I had a Ragnarok one from Tokyo Pop a long time ago, and then I had Dragon Ball Z, and then I had, I think maybe volume 1 of One Piece, which funny story, at the time I thought it was actually Nep Egg, which was ridiculous. But I mean, I'm not gonna talk about that right now. But it was Beat the Vandalbuster was like right after that. And I loved the story. It was great. I was waiting like every other month, because it was coming out like every 6 months. Like it took forever to actually get like Beat the Vandalbuster in stores. And when it finally came in stores, I was like so excited. And like I bought all the volumes, and then it went on hiatus for like years. Like I was a teenager when it went on hiatus, and in my 30s, like is when I saw it like pick back up again, and or late 20s, I guess. I don't know, but like I they don't even have it in America, so like I actually have been thinking more and more about just like buying the volumes from Japan and just like reading them, but like they're not translated, so I'm kind of like at a loss regardless. But I still really want to like finish the series. I think they drew maybe definitely 2 more volumes. I think I have up to volume 12. Yeah, I have up to volume 12, and I think either they finished the entire series by volume 15, or they just got to volume 15. It's one of the two. But I'm still really looking forward to actually looking at that at some point in time. I have not like seen it in a very long time. Like I'm like I've had like blue balls, I guess, like for I don't know 15 years, in the sense of like I really want to see what happens next inside of like this series. Like I really liked it when it was coming out, and because it went on hiatus for so long, I kind of like just thought to myself, oh, they're never gonna finish it. And then I actually saw that they made a anime about it, and I was like, okay, well maybe I should just watch the anime. But I don't know. Like I mean, everything that I saw from the anime, it wasn't like the same story. So I was like, okay, well, I mean, it doesn't have to be, I guess, the same story per se for me to enjoy this, but like I would like it to be, and like obviously it wasn't going to be because they'd never finished the story. So, when Dragon Quest came out, that was, a really, I think a lot of people were talking about it when it was coming out, back in around 2020, 2019-ish. I'm not exactly sure when Dragon Quest came out, but it was around that time. And I was like, oh, this looks really, really cool. I'm going to wait until it's all finished and then I'll binge it. And I finally got to that point. I was binging it. I was very much enjoying it. And then, turns out I can't actually watch it because it's only 50 episodes on Netflix. So, I've been kind of waiting to see if they're going to put it on Netflix again, if they're going to finish putting everything on Netflix, or if I should just, bite the bullet and get another streaming service. So it just kind of depends. I'll probably bite the bullet because, Jackson's getting a little bit older. Bluey is on Disney Plus, and there's also, a lot of old, movies that we really enjoyed that I would love to watch with him, like Lion King, Aladdin, Hercules, Mulan, all those Disney classics. And then I also really want to rewatch all of the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies. Sorry, I was getting a call, so I kind of went, silent right there. But, yeah, I'm really looking forward to, getting that. And like I said, I think it's a part of a bundle with, Hulu. So, if it is, then I'll definitely, get a chance to look at, Beat the Vanderbuster. If it's on Hulu. Again, I'm not actually sure if that's actually the case or not. So, we'll see what happens. Yeah, okay. But yeah, that's another thing that's going on right now. I also have been looking at the lineup that Netflix has, and one of the things that I really want to do is rewatch Gurren Lagann. That was potentially even still to this day one of my favorite animes of all time. It was only 27 episodes. Really cool story, cool message too. It was animated very well, except for the 5th episode. I think that's probably the worst episode. I still have resentment for that episode. But there's what else? It was just a really cool series. Very stylish, very fun. That's also another that series makes me want an anime series that's really short as well, maybe 27 episodes, 30 episodes max, something like that. I actually talked about this inside of the podcast. I was like, if I ever get one, which I have full confidence that I will get one at some point in time, it's just a matter of time. But whenever that happens, if I had complete control, I have a thought process. I have 3 thought processes on this. One, I kind of want it to be a short series. So if if Hammer, for instance, became an anime, I would hope that I could, have some type of say in saying, okay, well, either we're going to make this substantially shorter and we're going to hit the most important parts and not have all the fluff, but everything that I want it to be, and then just go straight into it. So maybe it'll be 10 episodes long for the first 3 seasons that I have right now, or the first 3 arcs that I have. I think that'd be pretty cool. And then in terms of that, if everything else continues, more than likely the entire series would be maybe 20 episodes, if that were the case. Again, I'm not really sure if that'll happen. What's up? No Newbie 2D. Hi, dude. What's going on, man? I'm just ranting right now. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments. I will answer you if you guys have any questions. But yeah, if I had the one part of me is thinking, okay, I think, really short series, 20 or 30 episodes is a really good idea. I also think that if it had to be super long, 50 episodes is probably the max that I would like it to be. However, if I had complete control, if it wasn't Hammer, but it was a different series, I would definitely think, having a series that's under 10 episodes would be perfect. Because I think, it being short enough for anybody to be able to digest it immediately is, a really good idea, in my opinion, anyway. I love your work, very cartoony. Oh, thank you, man. I'm trying to coin the term cartoony manga, so hopefully, I am sticking to that. But I appreciate it, Newbie 2D. Thank you very much. Um, but yeah, so that again, like that's basically one of the things that made me want to have something like that was because of Fooly Cooley. I think that was only like 6 or 7 episodes. I think it was only six, if I'm not mistaken. And then Girl and Gone, that's 27 episodes. I really want to watch the other one that they did. What was that called? Oh man, it was oh my gosh, they had like a scissor blade. You know, I completely forgot what it was. It was like these two girls. Turns out I don't want to spoil it, but like it was really cool. Um, high school manga, but like with superpowers and like threads and stuff. Like it was really cool. It was interesting. Um, I liked that. I think that was only like 27 episodes. And then there's also Panty and Stocking. That was a really good one too. Like that entire studio, like they do really cool concepts and ideas. But I believe Panty and Stocking, for instance, I mean, I haven't seen that in forever. Like that's been at least like more than a decade. Like it's been a long time. But I want to say that was less than 20 episodes as well, or maybe 27 episodes max. But like that was a really cool. That's kind of where I got the idea of like, okay, I want to have an entire series in like this short amount of time because I want people to be able to put it up, like pick it up and say, wow, this is awesome, and really, really enjoy it, get into like some type of cult following, like, oh, this is great. And then they, hopefully same thing with my books. Like, that's kind of what the idea was when it came to Hammer. I wanted it only to be, 8 volumes at first, which, I mean, it probably can still be 8 volumes. I guess we'll see whether or not I get to that point. I think I opened up the wrong page. Yeah, I opened up the wrong page. We'll see if it gets to that point. But the max amount of volumes that I'm thinking for Hammer is probably only 10, which I don't necessarily want it to be. I don't want it to get to 10. Well, I mean, okay, it's not that I don't want it to get to 10, but I don't want it to go more than 10 is what I'm saying. I would like to get to the point where I can finish it because I want to have a finished series that can like hold up to have like longevity. I want it to feel like if it got really, really popular, a bookstore could like have the entire inventory on their shelf. That's, I think 10 books is like, still a lot for any bookstore to have on their shelf, unless your series is making like, I don't know, bank. Like it's having like a bunch of different sales. Like that's a possibility for them to hold, like, for instance, 10 plus volumes of like One Piece or Naruto or Jujutsu Kaisen, Kimetsu no Yaiba. The really big wigs, like, those are the ones that are bringing in a lot of the money. So like obviously they're gonna have room on the shelf for all of those. One of the reasons why I think having a short series is a good idea is because if I had, if Hammer was only 5 pages or 5 volumes, then I think, like, it would be a lot more plausible for me to say, oh, they're definitely going to carry, or at least it would be easier for them to carry all 5 volumes at all times, as opposed to, all 10 volumes or more than that. So, like, again, that's one of the reasons why I really want, Hammer to be probably at max 10 volumes. I'm shooting for 8, but we'll see what happens. I still have a lot of ideas for the story, and I also want to wrap up everything in a pretty nice, neat bow. So hopefully I can finish it up in that amount of time. But if I can't do it in these next 3 volumes, then it would probably be 5 volumes, and then I'll be done, something like that. But anyway, I'm saying all that to say is because I want it to like have a series that people can pick up, finish up, and be like, wow, this is great, and really, really enjoy it. Another reason why I have that idea in my head is because of Scott Pilgrim. I really liked Scott Pilgrim, growing up. I still like Scott Pilgrim. I have like the entire thing on my shelf. It's only 6 volumes, very fun series, very fun. Even anime, and I believe that was. I really liked how they like switched it up, actually, and I'll talk about that later if you guys want. But that was, I think, less than 10 episodes as well. It's on Netflix. I might rewatch it again at some point. But like again, there's something about having a short series. There's something about having a short series, in my opinion, that like really resonates with me. Like I like that idea a lot. Having a very long series is obviously the ideal for people that want to be a part of that generation that like Naruto, Bleach, One Piece, even Dragon Ball to some extent. Like, I mean, if you want a series that's like hundreds of chapters long, like, I mean, obviously, you have that mindset like, hey, this is how manga could do it. This is what I really, really want to happen. But like, as I've gotten older, I've realized more and more, like, that it's so difficult to have something like that. And like, not to say that you can't do it, but there's a lot of factors that go into it. So like one of them, for instance, is, keeping the interest for your series for that long. If you have to finish up a series that's 100 chapters long or more than 100 chapters long, but you've run out of ideas that are really cool, I mean, then what are you really doing? Like if you didn't plan for it to be that long, but you're just going with the flow and it got really, really popular, like now you have also a demand for it. Like how do you end the series? Like how do you get to the point where it feels like a finite ending? Like I could not imagine, working at Shonen Jump, for instance, for more than like 10 years. Like it definitely would have been a dream come true a while ago. And I think that it is a really cool standard to have, like say, hey, I want to get to this point where my stuff could be, right alongside. Excuse me. I want to get to this point where my stuff can be right alongside Bleach and One Piece and, Jujutsu Kaisen and Chainsaw Man and, all this other stuff. But, I mean, it takes so much to do all of that. Hold on, I'm trying to find... Where is it? Here it is. It takes a lot to... have all those ideas, to not be sick of it, and to, continuously do it. And then on top of all of that, it also has to be popular enough to warrant it. Because if, like, you're not making money, if you're not making sales, and, they're just... Like, I don't think you can actually, like, do something like that unless you're really, really popular. And if you're not really, really popular, but you're still trying to do something like that, it's kind of like I don't want to say naive, but it is kind of naive. Like in the sense of saying, hey, I'm definitely going to have 100+ chapters for like this series. Like, that's, you can do it. I mean, I'm not saying that you shouldn't try to do it if you want to do it. Like, I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying that, just knowing everything that I know, like, I personally don't want to do that. Because I think it would be, a nightmare. I'm like, I don't want to do that. So, again, that's one of the main reasons why I'm like, okay, Hammer, like, I really like the series. I don't want to, get to the point where I'm hating the series more and more. Like, I don't want that to happen. Like, so that's why I'm really glad that I have, a lot of fresh ideas for it. I'm glad that, I have an ending in mind. I'm glad that I have the freedom as well to do what I'm doing inside of AM. There's a lot of things that, like, I'm really glad for. But ultimately, I mean, having a really, really long series is... it can be a job, and like it's not for everyone. Exactly, yeah. June of Wrath, it's not for everyone. Exactly. So, I think that the person that does it the best, obviously, would be Aichido Oda. Like that dude has so many ideas in his head, like it is crazy. But like when you think about like his actual lifestyle, like his work-life balance, I've read his like his schedule. He like has it seems like he has the Uberman sleep schedule, which, in case you guys don't know, is the sleep schedule that Batman actually had when he was trying to learn everything that he currently knows, like every martial arts, every, different language, where he was a lawyer, he was a detective, not a lawyer, he was a detective. Like he learned everything because of the Uberman sleep schedule, which is a real sleep schedule, which essentially means that you have 30-minute naps throughout the day. but you only sleep for REM sleep for 2 hours. And like it's really intense. I talked about this a long time ago. I tried it out once and I was like, I can't do this. Like it's crazy. But I mean, it is I told her he wakes up, I think he goes to sleep at 2 and he wakes up, give or take, around, or maybe he wakes up at 2. Like I don't even remember. Like it was a while ago. But I know he doesn't get to see his family for more than once a week. I couldn't do that. I mean, I have one kid. I think he now has 2 potentially. I'm not even sure, but I mean, I couldn't dream of like not seeing Jackson. Like I love drawing, but I love my little boy as well. Like, and I would love to be a part of his life. And like, yes, if I was essentially a national treasure like JeyOdin was, like it would be more of a burden in a sense of saying, hey, I have this duty to finish up this story, but like make it like as epic and amazing as possible, so that way I can create this future for my family. So like I understand like the mindset behind it, but at the exact same time, it's like it's so like it's so intense. Like I don't know. I know that there's a different method to getting to that exact same level without having to go through all of that, and that's what I'm trying to work for. June of Wrath says, Uber driver sleep schedule. That's the one I got. Oh, okay, that might be it. No, actually, no. The Uber driver sleep schedule is an actual Uber driver that is like, trying to make ends meet. Like that's what it seems like based off of what you're saying. I'm talking about the Uberman sleep schedule. I don't even think it's called. I don't think it's spelled Uber. There was a video. Hold on. What's it called? Look up the imaginary axis on YouTube. He does a lot of different videos where, well, he used to do a lot of different videos. Now he, does them more sparingly, but a while ago he was doing them a lot more frequent. And he did one video where he talks about like how Batman became Batman. It's very interesting. It's like maybe 30 minutes long, and he talks about the Uberman sleep schedule, and like he, goes through all the details at that point. But it's crazy. Like, I mean, you sleep for, 30 minutes throughout the day, and you have a 2-hour like REM sleep, session essentially. It's really like it's pretty intense. So, but anyway, all that to say is like, yeah, I can't do that. I don't want to do that. There are people who, for instance, drew X-Men 30 years ago. They did one awesome issue, and then it becomes a movie, and voila, they're making the same amount of money. Maybe not as much as like, for instance, One Piece, because obviously One Piece is a cultural phenomenon, but at the exact same time, like it's insane. So yeah, Uberman, but I was making a joke, driver. Haha. Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that there is an Uber driver sleep schedule there. Like, I don't doubt that at all. Like, that makes sense. But yeah, the Uberman sleep schedule, like it's intense. It's pretty insane. But on top of all of that, I feel like there's more to life than just work. I don't want to just draw comics on a regular basis without having any time to enjoy the fruits of my labor with my family. I obviously haven't gotten to the point where it has, taken over my entire, income yet. That hasn't happened, but it is definitely, something that like I'm striving for, and I'm really glad that I've gotten to that point. That's literally like a break at a 9 to 5. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's insane. Like, and like I really like this career, like drawing comics, moving up the ranks. Having a name get bigger and bigger with every project, depending on the project. I'm trying my hardest to make sure that I can, get to that point where I don't necessarily have to, rely on just a day job anymore. Like, I would love to get to that point. And it hasn't happened yet. Like, it will at some point, and I'm, really looking forward to it, but it hasn't happened at the moment. You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm not sure if you guys can hear my baby. He's crying. I feel bad because I'm just in here talking to myself. talking to you guys online. Let me do this. All right, so I'm gonna switch gears a little bit and talk about exactly what I'm doing. This is how I usually ink. It's very straightforward. I kind of just get the my pen. I get like the smooth brush or the smooth G pen, so that way there's no ridges like the normal regular G pen or real G pen. And then I change the ink to a particular gray, and then I just make sure that I use that gray for the toning. This is, again, like I talked about this earlier, this is the easiest way I know to tone. I obviously there's not necessarily a right way to tone. You can do it in any way you want, but like this is what I do because I just find it to be easier. See, my dogs are barking. All right, give me one moment, guys. I'll be right back. Let me see exactly what's going on. Ugh. Right back. Alright. Sorry, guys. My apologies. Oh, snaps. Alright, I'm back. My dogs were barking. We live in an apartment complex, and we have some maintenance that came in to work on something. But anyway, so in terms of toning, I just try to make it like the easiest way possible. Like, I mean, I know that there's a lot of different methods to do this, but like as long as it's quick, as long as it gets the job done, like that's all I really want to do. I hear him, LOL, little man. Yeah, he was crying, man. Like he wasn't having a good time. He has to take this medicine right now because babies, in case I'm not sure if you guys have any babies, but they'll have acid reflux. Towards the middle time, right before they're about to start solids, and he's right at that point, so he's about to start solids. Like I said, we started that yesterday actually, but he was getting a lot of acid reflux, and it really messes with him, so he has to take this medicine, but he hates the medicine. And we'll give it to him, and he's like and I just feel bad. I love him, but it's I'm sorry, man, you got to take this. You have to take it. This is prescribed, you need this. But anyway, so what else is going on? Okay, now I gotta do that actually. Let me get skin tone. Okay, yeah. So after you do this tone, if you want to make it look more like a tone, like for instance, I'll zoom in on this real quick. If you do this and then you go to this layer and you press this button right here, it'll make it all look like that. And I think that that's a pretty cool way to tone your stuff. But I mean, I've been doing this long enough to know that when it gets printed, I mean, unless you want it specifically to look like that, sometimes it actually won't look that good. It'll look, very even more dotty than you want it to look, or it'll look sort of warped in some type of way. And I don't know, I didn't like that look on some of my older comics. So I've changed the way that I do things now to basically just have a solid, color. And I like it this way. Again, I'm sure that there's a bunch of different, I know for a fact that there are a bunch of different other ways that you can tone your work, but this is the easiest, this is the fastest, So I highly recommend anybody that wants to tone their work. I put out an ebook saying don't overthink it, just kind of do it, and like this is kind of like a part of that same mentality. That ebook was the drawing basics of JeyOdin, so I actually put that inside of a giant compendium of ebooks. So I have that, my 4-step guide, how to draw black hair, what else? Character creation cards, my character design book, a bunch of other stuff. Like I put that all inside of one giant compendium. You can actually get that in the link box below. If you guys want to support me a little bit more. But if you want to just, definitely put a like on this video, that'd be great. I would love that. Drop a comment down below, say hey, just doing something like that definitely makes the algorithm a little bit more favorable, as far as I understand it. I don't know everything about the algorithm, but yeah, that would be great. Thank you very much if you've already done that. But anyway, yeah, like I was saying, when it comes to the tones, I just kind of try to get it done because I'm at this point in my life when it comes to getting these pages finished. Like I'm constantly on a deadline. My deadline is always fast approaching, and I don't have the luxury of trying to learn something brand new that's gonna take a long time to completely grasp. And like that's not to say that you shouldn't learn new things. Like definitely, if this is something that you want to change, like I could sit down and look up some videos and do all of that stuff. Like that would be what I would suggest. But like personally, I know this works for me. I know it gets the job done, and that's all I'm really worried about. So yeah, but yeah, hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that kind of describes how I've made why I'm toning in this way. And yeah, I try to put it on a separate layer. I just multiply that layer and put it usually at the very top, so that way it goes to every single panel, regardless of what order I have the layers in. That's usually what I try to do, and I think it has been working for me for a while. So I'm just trying to make that happen. To give you a little context about this scene, I don't want to spoil anything for this book. I think it's going to be a really fun book, a really funny book. But in short, these guys went to a place in Japan, and now they're all talking about like where they're at and stuff like that. So, and this is a character that I created, like his look. His the outfit that he's wearing is a part of the script, but like I made him black because I was like, you know what, I'm gonna add a black character in this. I think that'd be really cool, and I think that he would look, he would deliver the part a little bit better in my opinion. So I was like, this would be really fun. So I decided to do that. But yeah, it's been really fun to draw this series. I'm very much so enjoying it. I really enjoyed doing volume 1, and that was like mainly just like a bunch of mechs fight, like a bunch of mech fight scenes, and it was so fun. Like I very much so enjoyed volume 1. I actually have a bunch of different copies, which at some point in time I might do a raffle for everybody in America, and like send off like a few books. I did this one contest. Let me just say this. I did this contest a few years ago for volume 4 of Hammer, and the winner, he lives in South Africa, and I actually got a message from him recently, and he was saying that he hadn't gotten his book, and it has been like a year and a half, and like I was like, oh no, like the company that like has been publishing these, they were supposed to take care of it. So like I was like, man, that kind of sucks. Like I thought they already took care of it. I hadn't heard anything up to this point, but now like they didn't take care of it. So I'm trying to take care of all that, but because of that, that's the reason why it's only going to be local, in the sense of it's going to be in America if I do a contest like that again in the future. I'm very appreciative of their participation in the past, but it's just unfortunately very inconvenient in the sense of like trying to get the package over there. I know that there's a bunch of different like custom issues and stuff like that. So hopefully sooner rather than later we can get that package over to them. We were working on it. I know that. So, but it still just kind of sucks because it was supposed to be taken care of like over a year ago. So I'm just like, man, whatever. But anyway, so yeah, again, that's what I usually do when it comes to tones. I also use gradients. I try not to overdo it with the gradients. So if I do a gradient, for instance, like I'm about to use a gradient for the sky right here. And there's also another page that I'm going to be adding a gradient to as well. But, I just go over here to where it says gradients, and then manga gradients. You can change the color and stuff if you want. Come on, what are you doing? Here, okay, there you go. So black. I make this clear. All right, and then I make this go down. I lower the opacity. Bring it up, and then boom, voila, I got a gradient. And now what I can do is actually add some clouds. Oh, whoa, that's way too low. Add some clouds. And I can also add a little bit of extra stuff to make these clouds look even better. Yeah. I have my little spray tool to essentially like make the hard line on the bottom go away. But yeah, this is just again some easy techniques, for toning. Like I said, I'm not the best toner in the world, but like I can do enough to make you say, "Oh wow, this is interesting," and get my point across, and that's all that really matters. So yeah, especially when you have a timeline. Like I mean, I can't like drive this home enough. Like when you have a deadline and you're on like a tight time schedule. Like it is, like you need to get it done. Like there's no, But what if I do this? What if I do that? No, like get it done. Like that's all that really matters. So, and that is what I'm gonna do. It's called being a professional, guys. But anyway, yeah. Do you guys have any questions? Anything you want me to address? I might be getting off. It's already 4:20. I started around 3, right? Yeah, I started at 3, so it's been about an hour and a half, hour 20 minutes. So I might be getting off really soon. So if you guys have any questions or anything you want me to address, please feel free to put them in the comments down below. So that way I can address them before the end of this stream. Now I'm going to make this a little bit lighter. Slightly lighter. Okay, that works. All right. And... it doesn't matter. I need to add some color to this dude's jacket. Not color, but make it dark. At some point, I might do reactions to certain videos. There's one video I was watching from this one guy. I forgot his name. It's like Alex something. And it was like a really cool video. Like he basically does like these deep dives of theories that like he has like created for like, whatever show or commercial or video game or whatever. And one of them that I saw was about uh, the cuckoo bird from the commercial is Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and it was like super intricate. It had a lot of evidence to back up his claims. I was like, man, this is impressive. Like, I really enjoyed that. In the future, I might be doing some reviews, or not reviews, but I might watch some of those while we do my my drawings, and like we'll probably talk about them and all that stuff, because that's usually what I do. Like, I just like draw and watch like movies or random YouTube videos or stuff like that, just to like, or I listen to a podcast like I was saying earlier. Like, I mean, it kind of just depends on what mood I'm in. If I'm really trying to focus but I still want some type of noise in the background, like, I think podcasts are usually my go-to. But when it comes to like really like getting into a particular like video that I really want to watch, like, I'll look up every now and then, and all that stuff. Or if I'm just like browsing and I'm like, oh, that sounds interesting, I'll watch this. Like, that's usually what happens with that's what happened with that Alex guy that I was talking about. Like, he had I've seen another video that he did, which was he was explaining the connection between Blue's Clues and Law and Order SVU, and I was like, how did you do that? Like, that's crazy. And like, it made a lot of sense. I was like, wow, that's really cool. And he has a lot of different videos like that. I think he had one for it was either him or it was somebody else that does videos like him that had one for Kingdom Hearts, and I forgot exactly what that one was about, but it was still really interesting. So like, I like that guy. I might watch some of his videos and do some reactions, because I think that would be really fun to, have. And maybe I'll do some more different reactions. I've just been trying to think about, like, what else can I do to, drive not only engagement from, you guys and more people, but also, what else could I do that would just be really fun? I've really wanted to draw, nothing but Hammer images, but like, because of the deadlines and stuff that I have going on right now, like, I know for a fact that it would be irresponsible unfortunately, to not focus on the deadlines and everything else that I have going on. Like, I really like Hammer. I really want to draw like Hammer posters and everything else, and I will be doing that like in the near future, like hopefully sooner rather than later. But it's just, I have a lot of deadlines that I got to finish up. Sky is Strife. Yo, what's going on, man? And Angels of the Renaissance. What's up, Jay? Hello, hello. Thank you guys for coming. Definitely put a like on this video if you guys are just joining, or if you just like this and haven't done so yet. I really appreciate the support. If you guys have any questions, like I was saying, I'm going to be getting off probably in the next like 10-15 minutes or so. I just kind of wanted to get off soon. Like I said earlier in this video, my son Jackson has tried solid foods, and my wife and I were going to feed him again together today. We've been trying to do like FaceTime with my mom. She lives in New Orleans, so she doesn't really get a lot of time to hang out with Jackson. So we'll FaceTime her, and we'll also record. So like, we're doing all the stuff, and like, I want to be there, to see him try new foods and stuff. Yesterday was hilarious. He tried carrots for the first time. No, it wasn't carrots. It was sweet potatoes, and like, he was like, interesting. And like, you could see his face. He was just like, this is interesting. Like, this is completely different than milk. I'll tell you that. Like, so it was really cool. It was very fun. I really want, I think today he's going to learn about carrots. So that'll be really cool. I can't wait until we can get to spaghetti and, all the other stuff is going to be super messy. I know that, but, I'm really looking forward to, him basically just having dinner with us, because it's only been like 5 months, but like he's basically just been nursing, like, and I can't really do much other than like, I'll feed him a bottle of whatever my wife, like the excess, like she'll pump some more milk and we'll feed him that, like, and that's basically all I can do. But in terms of feeding him, I think that I can definitely help out a lot more with that. And I also think that him having like solid foods, like it'll just be the next part of his journey. Like he's only 5 months old, but the next part of his journey. So like I'm really looking forward to seeing all of those. So that, again, that's another reason why I'm going to be getting off soon. So if you guys have any questions, anything you want me to address real quick, please put them in the comments. I'm going to try to finish up this page and like every panel where he's wearing something, so I can make it a little bit darker, like I'm doing right now for this character. But after I'm done with all that, I'm probably going to be shutting it down soon. So definitely hop on it while you can, guys. Is it hard doing Saturday AM stuff while having a kid? That's a good question. And to be honest with you, yes and no. It's hard doing a lot of stuff, for yourself, and also for, different projects. Like, I am working for Saturday AM, but I'm also working right now for Oni Press doing the Rick and Morty book. This is Rick and Morty that I'm working on right now. I also have another project that I'm doing as well. Luckily Saturday AM, they work with their members a lot, their artists, and I've been doing Hammer on a regular basis since, I don't know, 2019 I think is when we did something where Hammer was going to come out pretty much every issue. Or was it 2020? It was one of the two, but basically it's been like going hard, like nonstop for a very long time. So, I am having a hiatus not only because of, having a baby, like obviously, he takes priority, but also, another reason why I want a hiatus is because I really want the next issue or the next volume of Hammer to like really like be amazing. And I've rewritten, I was talking about this earlier, I've rewritten it like at least 5 different times. One of them is like from a long, long time ago when I first initiated this story. The second one was more recent. The third one was when I had a more suggestions from somebody. The fourth one was even more suggestions, and that was a completely different like turn of events. And now we're going back to the first type of turn of events. So now I'm rewriting it myself, and I think it's pretty good. But that's another reason why I want to take a hiatus, so that I can like just make sure that like the story going forward is like as exciting as I can possibly make it. I really want everybody that picks up this book to instantly love it, to be invested from the time they read the first chapter all the way to the end. I want Hammer to be talked about on different YouTube channels where people are like, I read the latest chapter of Hammer, and like, let me tell you, like, JeyOdin's going hard. Like, I mean, like, I would love to have more people talk about my stuff in that regard. And like, I understand that in order to do that, I need to bring even more to the table. So like, I've just been thinking more and more about like, what can I do to like make it better. And like, that's one of the main, that's not the main reason, but it's definitely a reason why I wanted to go on hiatus. So yeah, it's not necessarily difficult, but it's not easy, I'll tell you that. So congratulations on being a parent. Don't even have any kids. Hey man, I can say, well, first off, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. When it comes to having kids, it definitely changes your perspective on a lot of different things. It's not just about you. I've been married now since 2017. So like, I knew for a while it's not just about me anymore. But now that I have a kid, like it's definitely not just about me. Like, I mean, there's a lot of things that go to my head. Like, I've been trying to think like more and more about like the future. Like, what can I do to make sure that I'm ensuring all of the things that like I want to give him. I want to have more children as well. There's just a lot of stuff, and like obviously money is a big, part of that. And, I know that, working in comic books is a long game. I've known comic books was a long game since before I had my first book come out. And, I'm going to be honest with you. I thought that it would be, I would be at the end of it by now, but I'm not. And it's still very difficult to, make a complete living off of just comic books. Working with, companies, like the difference between, let's say, like Oni Press and Saturday AM. I like both of those companies a lot. One of the reasons why I love, working at Saturday AM is because my comic that I'm currently creating, manga, Hammer, like that is my series. Like I created it, I will get royalties from that. I have complete control over that. I have, a lot of different decision making power when it comes to that. So, and on top of that, like, hopefully it'll get to the point where it's such a huge intellectual property that other people like could draw more of the story. Like after I'm done, I could say, okay, somebody else take this, just like how Naruto and Boruto, for instance, I'm going to have somebody else draw this. I'll just, give you script ideas and then I'll collect a check because this is my intellectual property. Or if, somebody says, hey, I really want to make an anime out of this, or I want to have this in a video game, or I want to have this in a, a different TV show, or, whatever, or apparel, or, whatever. Like this is my baby. So like, that's the reason why I very much so enjoy and like working for Saturday AM. I get to work on my own stuff. I'm trying to create generational wealth. Like I want to create a story that's going to be that for my family. But, working at Oni Press, I very much so enjoy that as well, mainly because in the very beginning, before I, got with even Antarctic Press, I knew of Oni Press because of Scott Pilgrim and also Shark Knife. And, I really wanted to be a part of that team. I was like, wow, this is before Saturday AM was a thing. But, I wanted to be a part of that team because I was like, this is, what I would assume the closest thing I could get to in manga in, America would be. So like that's one reason why I want to do it. And then another reason is because they have intellectual properties like Rick and Morty, for instance. They also have a lot of different connections in terms of, they have a lot of different connections, and I'll just leave it at that. And I wanted to get to a point where I could have my name be dropped, and people from this company and other companies be like, "Oh, I know that guy because he drew this one series." So it's just a different like feeling, I guess I should say. Like I don't know how to necessarily describe it any other way, but I really enjoy both companies and I'm really glad that I can work for both companies. I just wish that hopefully sooner rather than later it can get to a point where like that's all I'm doing, because then I could just draw all day long and be very happy and provide everything for my family, as opposed to drawing all day long and covering the amount of bills that need to be covered, but still having to go into work to, make up the rest of the bills. Like, that's the reason why having a day job is really important while you're drawing comics until you make it big. And there's a lot of different ways that you can make it big. Maybe it's, you're creating your own story, like for instance, Hammer, or maybe you work with a writer that's really famous. Or maybe, you just get really lucky and like, the concept that you're working on with somebody else or by yourself just like gets seen by the right people and then explodes. There's a lot of different ways to make it happen, but ultimately it's a long game and it's also a gamble. Like, you never know whether or not this is going to be the next big thing or not. All you can do is, try your best and, do what you need to do. And I'm glad that I have, the experience that I have, when it comes to working with these companies on these projects, because, there's a lot of people that talk about this that don't have this experience, and they're trying to act like they know everything, and they don't. Like, they also think that it's, once you get a job like this, like, all your bills are going to be paid. Like, that's not how the real world works. Like, it is possible for stuff like that to happen, but it's not as common as you would like think it is. So this is the reason why I say comic books is really difficult to, like, actually live inside of this world. So just, keep it in mind, especially if you want to become a comic book artist. It's not the most luxurious type of job. I got fired Friday after 7 years of hard work. So now I'm focusing on my manga company and production. Dang, dude, I'm sorry that you got fired. Like, I mean, that really blows. I take it that you are, definitely looking at it in a good light, especially because you're going to use this time to, focus on, passion project of your own. But at the same time, like, my condolences, man. I mean, I'm not sure exactly what job you're working at. You don't have to tell me if you don't want to, but I mean, I understand the struggle. So all I can say is, do the best you can. Not necessarily start slow, but, just make really smart decisions. So that way, that they'll be lasting for a while, in terms of, like, if I do this comic, this is, what I can expect from it. Or if I do this series for maybe somebody else that's paying me some money, like, this is how much, that's going to work, and how much time it's going to take to do that. Just try to think about, like, all those decisions. That's what I would do. I assume you're not even asking for advice, and obviously this is just me talking, but, that's what I would do. So, but, kudos to you, man. I mean, in terms of working on your next projects, like, if you're already, like, thinking about that, like, I mean, that's really cool. I've thought about, like, if I were to do my own comic book company, like, how would I make it? And to be honest with you, like, the closest thing I could do in terms of being a comic book company, or just like a comic book entity, is essentially getting an agent, or, becoming my own agent, which is what I've basically been doing, but, like, shopping out ideas to people, creating short stories that I can, get out there, maybe in anthologies, or, maybe finish up 1 volumes at a time. I've talked about this a lot. And I think that, creating a 1 volume series, like, just something that can, like, you can finish up this entire story in 1 volume. I think that that's a really good way to do it. Selling fine art, I think that's really good. Obviously making merchandise. You can sell t-shirts and, stickers and, sketchbooks, ideas. But I would get to the point where basically I would be able to also be approached by other people and say, hey, I want you to draw my comic. Can you do that? And then, I would get them a fee, and then that would be, supplemental income on top of everything else. So, like, that's what I would do if I were to become a comic book company on my own. This is the last page that I have to draw on his jacket, but I'm not gonna do that right now because it's already 4:40, and it is getting a little bit later, and I know that my son needs to eat. If he hasn't already eaten, I know that he's gotten fed. Obviously, breastfed earlier. And hopefully he's just taking a nap, to be honest with you. But I also have to go to the restroom. So I'm going to be ending this right now. Thank you so much for, tuning in. If you really enjoyed this, or if you, want to hang out with me next week, I will probably most likely be doing this at the exact same time next week, around 3 to 4. Or between that time is when I'll start. And usually lasts for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. I can answer more questions if you guys have any. Definitely keep an eye out on my Instagram for whenever I have that question box, because that definitely keeps the conversation going a little bit earlier. A lot of this episode I was just talking to myself, which I don't mind. There's a lot of stuff that's on my mind, but at the exact same time, definitely makes things a little bit easier when I'm answering people's questions and trying to engage in that way. So if you guys have any questions, or if you want to just pick my brain about anything, feel free. I do not mind at all. Like, I will be as transparent as I can be, in this format. But I think that's it for right now. Thank you again, everybody that joined. I really appreciate you all. You guys rock. So, deuces.